הנה מה טוב ומה להם, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה להם, שבת אחים גם יחד.
הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב.
לה 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 לה.
הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב.
לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Does everybody have a song sheet? We're moving to the song sheet. Song number 1, very good place to start. I think a lot of you will know this, so you'll let's sing it together. Here we go. You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well, their father's hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they picked, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they tell you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you. You of tender ears and know the fears that your elders go by, so please help them with your youth. They seek the truth before they can die. Teach your parents well, their children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they pick, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you. Song number 3 on the song sheet. Song number 3. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Hebrew, Pitchuli, Sharet Tzedek,
Close your eyes and I'll feed you the words. Close your eyes so we can prepare to be a sanctuary. To be a sanctuary.
Be a sanctuary.
Pure and holy.
Pure and holy.
Tried and true.
tried and true.
With thanksgiving,
With thanksgiving,
I'll be a living
I'll be a living
sanctuary for you. And Hebrew.
One last time. Lord, prepare me
To be a
Everybody sing.
sanctuary.
Be a sanctuary. Let me hear you.
Pure and holy,
Pure and holy. I'm not
tried
hearing
and
you.
true.
Tried and true.
With thanksgiving,
With thanksgiving,
I'll be a living
I'll be a living
sanctuary for you. Shabbat Shalom. I am Rabbi Julia Weiss, and with Cantor Doug Kotler, we welcome you to Congregation Orami Shabbat evening services. If this is your first time ever being at a Shabbat service with Congregation Orami, will you just raise your hand? Shabbat Shalom to everyone. We have some welcomes. We'll stay here all night if we welcome everyone individually. But we have a lot to celebrate. First of all, I just want to welcome those who are praying via live stream, those who are unable to make it, either they're physically ill or wanted a night at home. We're happy that you're praying with us wherever you are. Shabbat Shalom. So as I was saying, we have a lot to celebrate. I want to introduce you to Pastor Kathy Huck. So if you'll just wave your hand, and all of her family and friends that are here, if you'll wave your hands, if you're here, Shabbat Shalom. We're really happy to have you, learning a lot from you tonight. Thank
Rabbi,
you for being
there's
here.
going to, excuse me one second, I know you have more stuff to say, but there's going to be several opportunities for people to applaud tonight, and let me teach you the Orami way to applaud in the middle of services. This is the way deaf people applaud, and that way the volume will the mood will kind of be appropriate for the next hour or so.
I want to thank the rest of our team that's up here on this bima tonight. I want to thank Cheryl and Daryl and Jared for contributing their beautiful voices and music.
All.
That's right.
See, there you go. I told you.
I also want to thank the Sukkot Shalom Housing and Peace for All campaign team, those of you that actually put on the dinner, but really helped make sure that a lot of our people turned out. So thank you for all of you for being here as well. And thank you.
How many people ate dinner? Here, raise your hand. Yeah, see?
Well, that's a whole nother team, and we're still coming up with a name. So if anyone has a good name, not right now.
Okay.
But we need a name for these
Yeah, that's good.
amazing people who show up in the morning to set up and then come several hours before dinner and continue setting up and usually cook all the food. So thank you to the team that set up. There are so many of you, and we're going to come up with a really great name. So the next time we pray together, there will be a name for that. All of you that are here. But if you'll raise your hands, if you're on that team, you came in early, you came here at some point. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. And last but definitely not least, we have two amazing young adults that are about to become bar bat mitzvah. If you are here celebrating with Devin, who becomes bat mitzvah soon, will you just wave your hand so we can say a Shabbat Shalom to all of you? Shabbat Shalom. You don't want to wave your hand, Devin. And Josh becomes bar mitzvah tomorrow. So if you're here celebrating Josh, will you please raise your hands?
Nice.
Shabbat Shalom to all of you. I would now like to invite up Steve Kellerman, our inclusion chair.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. Across the country, synagogues are speaking about Jewish Disabilities and Inclusion Month, which is February. Orami's definition of inclusion is creating a culture, environment, and community where everybody feels comfortable and is able to participate fully, regardless of their age, gender, identity, sexual orientation, race or religious beliefs, or ability to cope with life's challenges. Nowhere in this definition is, quote, people who are unhoused, unquote. Unhoused is a term you'll hear used by Pastor Kathy. A brief story that I would like to share with you called The Keymaker. It doesn't have an author that we know of, but I think it fits tonight for what we're going to hear and experience. Some people see a closed door and turn away. Others see a closed door, try the knob. If it doesn't open, they turn away. Still others see a closed door, try the knob. If it doesn't fit, they turn away. A rare few see a closed door, try the knob. If it doesn't open, they find a key. If the key doesn't fit, they make one. For the people who are disabled, and yes, we focus on how they look, the clothes they wear, and even how they smell at times, as much as we try not to do that. They're the disenfranchised who are unable to participate in many Jewish events and services. They can't make the key. Some cannot bring themselves to make a key. We believe that we should be able to pull themselves up and take responsibility for themselves, except they can't. I'm making the point that being unhoused is a life condition that becomes the way they see themselves. These are the chronic unhoused. We can begin to change that by giving them a key along with the social services they need. Now let's find a way in our hearts spiritually to welcome them into our houses of worship too. Amen.
Very nice.
A few housekeeping notes, since so many of you are new to our congregation. We welcome you home, welcome you to the family. A few things, so if there are any young ones and they have what we call spilkies, kind of the jitters, we have a children's sanctuary, so if you go out the glass doors to the right, there's actually a soundproof room. We cannot hear you, but you can hear us. So we ask that an adult accompany the children, and there's prayer books in there, and anything else that you might need. Our bathrooms are through the glass doors to the left. Please turn off your cell phones. This is a great time to turn them off. And as Cantor Doug mentioned, this is our prayer book. This prayer book is called Mishkan Tefillah, the House of Prayer. It's actually designed for a service just like this one, which is to have people of different faiths and denominations come together, but pray together as one. And so you'll see, as he said, it opens right to left. And we are going to be using the black numbers on the page, but they function as one page total. So feel free to join us in either the Hebrew or the transliteration, which is right next to it. It's the English written out for the Hebrew. Or look at the translation of the prayer underneath, or the creative interpretation of the themes of the prayer on the left-hand side. And we will make sure to announce all page numbers, when to sit and stand if you're able. And so hopefully you will feel included in this Shabbat service with us. As we start our Shabbat service together, I'd like to invite up Devin, Mom, Dad, and Will. And I'd like to invite up Josh, Mom, Dad, and Sydney, please, to light candles. We are on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav שערים ובתבונה משנתים ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם מרקיע כצאנו אוריון בלילה גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל החי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריך
You may be seated.
Continue. Go ahead.
Before we continue with Shema, one of our most important Jewish prayers, I'd like to read you something that's not in our prayer book, called a new Shema. Hear, let the whisper of the infinite enter the secret chamber of your heart. Yearning is a gift. It pierces the shell you build around who you truly are. The source of kindness and the source of justice are in truth one source. The only one, the source of love. Wrestle with the infinite. Limbs entwined, skin on skin and breath on breath, you and the great other can meet yourselves. Touch and dissolve, become one. There is no other. No otherness. All that has been, all that is, and all that shall be. All comes from one, and all is one. We all flower from the one root. We are kin. There is no other. We are one. That is what tonight is all about. So we pray, listen, Shema. Hear, O Israel. Adonai is our God. Adonai is one. We are one. We are one.
Page 35.
If you're lost, you feel afraid, and you don't know what to say, then listen to our God. Is there a question on your mind? Is the answer hard to find? Then listen to our God. Listen with all your heart and soul, and with all your mind. Write them and learn them and teach them well, every morning and night. Close your eyes and listen. Quiet yourself, there's nothing to say. Stop all the chatter that gets in the way, and listen to our God. When the wind and the thunder finally disappear, there's still a voice voice that you can hear if you listen. Listen to our God. You can hear it from the top of the highest hill, or from the valley below. It can come from the edge of the universe. It can come from within your soul. Close your eyes and listen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malechuta Le'olam. Listen, listen to our God. Listen, listen to our God.
You may take your seats. We turn to page 40 for our Song of Freedom, Mi Chamocha.
La 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 la
Mi chamocha, pailim Adonai. Mi chamocha, ne'edar b'kodesh. No ratilo, oh seifelo. No ratilo, oh seifelo. La 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 la. Ma'alechutecha ra'u vanecha, bokeh ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'eli anu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. La 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 la.
Awesome. Page 44, Josh, come on up.
V'shameru v'nei Yisrael Eshet Yamim, Asa Adonai, Asa Adonai, Et HaShamayim ve'et ha'aretz, Vishameru v'nei Yisrael, Et HaShabbat la'asot, Et HaShabbat L'Toratam Berit Olam. Uvayom Hashvi'i Shavat Vayinafash, Shavat Vayinafash, Shavat Vayinafash, Vishameru v'nei Yisrael, Et HaShabbat La'asot, Et HaShabbat L'Toratam Berit Olam.
Yofi, excellent. We're gonna turn to our song sheet. On the back side, song number 4.
We all laugh out loud, feel joy and pain, dream and wake, blood runs through our veins. We cry with our tears, laugh and grow, and deep inside each of us there is a soul. 'Cause we're all born in the image of God, farther than eyes can see. We're all born in the image of God, B'Tselem Elohim. Created from one holy design, each one's unique, no two of a kind, different in color, voice and faith, yet we all belong to one human race. 'Cause we are all born in the image of God, farther than eyes can see. We are all born in the image of God, B'Tselem Elohim. For all of God's children under the sun, may peace prevail between everyone. Across the world, miles far away, we are all linked as one sacred chain. We all can choose goodness to keep close at heart, even though oceans may set us apart. 'Cause we are all born in the image of God, farther than eyes can see. We are all born in the image of God, B'Tselem Elohim, B'Tselem Elohim.
was a song that Cheryl actually composed herself with the other rabbi, so sorry to embarrass you, but thank you. In a moment, we're going to turn actually to page 48, but before, pray with me on page 47. You follow along, and I'll read the words. Beginning what we call our Amidah, or our standing prayers. During the weekday, we have 19 of them. When it is Shabbat time, we only have a few less. Really the ones that are all about praising God for giving us the Sabbath, for allowing us to rest, thanking God for giving us this life. So in a moment we will stand, but first, to start our Amidah prayer. In an envelope marked personal, God addressed me a letter. In an envelope marked personal, I have given my answer. We rise for page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'hanora El Elyon גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה Page 50. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופך עולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, ישנה יפה. מחנוך על גבולות, ומדרדרה, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמנת להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל.
Page 52.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום, יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Rest of our Amidah prayer silently, either praying the words on the pages through page 62 or the words that are in your heart, and when you are finished, you may be seated.
Can you hear in the children's sanctuary now? Yes, okay. I apologize, I had the volume turned off, so you can hear now. On the song sheet, song number 2. And the stone that the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone, the chief cornerstone. We are the faces of God.
You and you.
We are the faces of God.
You and you.
We are the faces of God. You and you.
We are the faces of God.
You and you.
We are the faces of God.
Adonai beni uvencha. We are the faces of God. Adonai beni uvencha. We are the faces of God. And the stone that the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone, the chief cornerstone. We are the faces of God. We are the faces of God.
You and you.
We are the faces of God.
You and you.
We are the faces of God. We are the faces of God. We are the faces, the beautiful faces. We are the faces of God. Faces of God. We are the faces of God.
In this week's Torah portion, Mishpatim, God invites Moses to ascend to God with his brother Aaron and his sons Nadav and Avihu and the 70 elders of Israel. They do so, and Torah tells us that they saw God. So this group that ascends the mountain with Moses gets to see God. And what an amazing, awesome experience that must have been. And yet, after their vision, their communal vision of God, Moses continues up the mountain, leaving the rest behind. He's there for 40 days and 40 nights without eating or drinking. Moses' group only came halfway up the mountain, but Moses ascended higher. It's up high in the mountain that he begins to accept his responsibility and the Israelites' responsibility with the divine. Somehow he knew that he was going to be receiving a lot of rules that everyone must follow. The Shulchan Orech, our code of Jewish law written in the 16th century, recommends that we donate a bit of money to charity every day before we pray. In so doing, it becomes harder to pray only for our personal needs, and we forget about the injustices of the world. Rabbi Akiva of first century teaches us, V'ahavta l'recha kamocha, may we love our neighbor as ourselves. Kadosh, or holiness, is what we do in this world. We serve God the most when we ascend the highest part of the mountain, when we stretch beyond ourselves and offer ourselves to those who need what we have to offer. Let me introduce to you all someone who is very much like Moses, who ascends the mountain every single day, the highest point, the peak. Someone who gives everything she has to offer and more. Pastor Kathy Huck. Pastor Kathy is the founder and executive director of About My Father's Business Homeless Outreach Ministry. This incredible organization encourages people to see the value that God sees in all of them and to repudiate the world's definition or labels that deem them to be invisible or not part of God's humanity. That was taken from their website. Pastor Kathy's congregation does not have four walls. She ministers to those who are unhoused on the streets. She does exactly what the Shulchan Aruch recommends, giving of yourself before concentrating on your personal needs. This is the definition of Pastor Kathy. She devotes herself to others and ministers their needs. I met Pastor Kathy at an interfaith vigil a few months ago while we were with the Sukkot Shalom housing campaign team. We prayed together before entering a Chatsworth City Council meeting. I knew immediately that Kathy was special. We are so lucky to have her here with us on our holiest day. I'm honored to share the bima with you, Pastor Kathy, my colleague, my friend, my soul sister. Steve, move that. We're going to help move the candles, and then we need to move this over here. Two people to just slide this over right. Of course, you can get up and move if you'd like. If you can't see the projector, there are a couple of empty seats I see over here. Feel free to move. Give me the go, Steve. Good. Oh, no. This light has to be on for sure. We all want to see Kathy. Yep. Good? Good? Okay, it is now my pleasure and honor to invite up Pastor Kathy.
In the tradition of Christianity, the pastor hides behind the screen. Thank you, Julia. I have to say, when I met her, we were at a vigil, and she runs up to me, she goes, "Are you Kathy?" I'm like, "Yes." She goes, "I'm Julia. I want to be your friend." True story. And we are definitely soul sisters. I really want to thank you. I have a loud voice. I need that mic. But I want to thank the congregation, or for having me here. I want to thank Rabbi Julia, Rabbi Paul, Steve Kellerman. I have 2 Yiddish words, and one of them is verklempt. When she told me that they wanted to invite me to speak, I'm like, I'm verklempt. Are you serious? And here I am. That's a big deal. That's a big deal for me. A lot of things have happened to me in my journey in ministry, but I never thought I'd be standing here before you all. Shalom. I want to thank this congregation because since meeting the rabbi, I've found that even though I'm out of the 4 walls, because I didn't find that enough was being done inside of those 4 walls, I find that even though you're in here, you're doing a lot in the community to help those who are less fortunate. And you are watching that slideshow. Those are the faces of God. I was really overwhelmed sitting there because my message is B'Tselem Elohim. That's the message. We're all made in the image of God. How amazing is that? But I want you to know, I want you to know that at a deeper level, the gravity of what that means. It's very important because we know these words, we hear these words, but do we live it? We have to live our faith. We have to live these words. We have to live them out. Those are the faces of God. They're all made in the image of God. Can I pray? Sure. Oh God, you're the creator of all and of all things. Father, as we speak together and reason together over these words, to be made in your image, help us to see the deeper meaning in that. And when we leave this place, to live it. And these things, Lord, we ask and we receive in your holy name. Amen. Amen. So do we acknowledge the great work of our Creator, the gravity of being made in God's image? I want, first of all, for you to get a really deep understanding of what that is. Now in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, it speaks of how God created man. And it says that God created man in his own image. And in the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them in his own image. Now, if you go before that and read the beginning of creation, God said, let there be light, right? And let the birds fly, let the creepy crawlers creep, let the moon glow, let the sun shine. Julia, did you do this? And he said all these things, let there be, didn't he? But when he came to man, he said, let us make. Isn't that personal? Did you ever think about that? Let us make. So it was with his hands, that's a nurturing thing, that he gave care to make man. He fashioned the dirt in his image. The birds are not in his image. The moon, the stars, they're not in his image, but you are. You are. You are the face of God. Look around you. These are the faces of God. Black, white, Jewish, Christian, atheist, homeless, housed. Those are the faces of God. What I want you to know is when you see someone that is not doing as well as you may be doing, that's still the face of God. But I want it to mean more to you than created in his image. Let's go deeper. So he fashioned. He said, let us create, not let there be. He spoke everything, but he took his hands to make the man. So it took care and nurturing. Now he did all that other stuff before he made the man on the sixth day because he loves this creation so much. This is how important we are to our Creator. He prepared all of the earth for us before we were created. It's like when you're going to have that child, you start painting the nursery, you get the mobile hung, all of that, right? God prepared the earth for us, and he gave us dominion over it. And then he created man to put there. That took a lot of care. Then he made us in his image. And some of you parents know when you have that baby, me, I look for myself in my kids. If they have big hands and big feet, I'm like, it's just like their mama. Right? Think about God, the Creator, the Father of creation. He wanted us to be in his image. That was important. Isn't that beautiful to think of it in that sense? It's major. God is the master creator. We're his masterpiece. When we disrespect one another, we disrespect the masterpiece of the master. Would you spray paint the Sistine Chapel? Or put a mustache on the Mona Lisa? You wouldn't do it. That would be an insult to the Creator. And hence, we do it all the time to our Creator in the way that we would choose to treat one another. And you know, I want you to know how important we are to him. It says that he breathed his breath into us, and we became, or into Adam, but we're the descendants. And Adam became a living soul. He breathed upon him, and he became a living soul. He didn't say, well, I'll let the water rain upon him, and he'll live. Or the sun will shine upon him, and he'll live. Or the wind will blow on him, and he'll live. He personally used his breath, his personal breath. So we're made in his image, and that same first breath has gone down through the ages. And I like to think every time, okay, on the day you were born, and that doctor went, and you went, that was that breath. And we share it down through the ages, the breath of God on the faces of God. Never trust a pastor when he or she says, I'm not going to keep you long. But I'm not going to keep you long. But I want you to understand that if all of that is true, and you know, I just want to give you a little bit more. Will you just indulge me a little bit more of how important we are to him? In Psalm, this is one of my favorites, Psalm 139, verse 14, David said, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, and my soul knows it very well. Does your soul know how wonderful you are? Do you? Let me tell you what that means, because you're probably saying, Pastor, fearfully? Am I like, what, scary? No. That translates to mean that God made you exceptionally, extraordinarily. That you are remarkable. You're incredibly made. You can go to school and tell them, I'm incredibly made. Pastor Kathy said. She studied about it and she told me. But more than that, it means that we are exceedingly made. Our creation exceeds the creation of the birds, the sky. We are his greatest work. Isn't that amazing? That's his greatest work. That is the greatest work of God. I don't care how you see anybody. That's God's greatest work. Psalm 32:8 says, I will instruct you and teach you the way to go, and I will give you counsel and walk over you. And you guys who are bat mitzvah, it's that time in your life. Remember that. God is always with you. Not just from the time of your birth, but always. He loves you so much. When you stop and pray, he will counsel you. When I pray, I don't just, like rub the lamp and ask for something. I stop and meditate to hear what he has to say. So he will counsel you, and he will watch over you. How personal is that? And then I want to read to you, this is how much and how important each image of God, each one who is created in his image, how important B'Tselem Elohim is. This is how important. In Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 17, listen to this. This is how I love God. He says, the Lord your God is among you. He is mighty to save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. Can you imagine God rejoicing over you? He loves you like that. He rejoices over you with gladness. And you know, sometimes when that test is coming and you're like, it also says he will quiet you with his love. He will quiet you with his love. And my favorite part is it says, he will rejoice over you with singing. God sings songs of rejoicing over you. Isn't that beautiful? He sings songs over you. This is how important we are to God. So then I ask you, if it is true, B'Tselem Elohim, and we're all created in his image, how do you acknowledge that creation, that great work of our Creator, with love or oppression? Because I do work in the encampments. I see people that are spat on. People throw firecrackers into tents. They use BB guns to blow up their propane tanks. It's bad. But it's the image of God. They are the image of God. They are B'Tselem Elohim. All of them. All of us. Look around you. Look around. Everybody, no, really, serious. This is an exercise. Look around. B'Tselem Elohim. All of us. I'm not Jewish, but I am B'Tselem Elohim. So, real quick, and I'm going to finish. Do you know that in the verses of Scripture, there are over 2,000 verses about poverty, the poor, and justice? How important must that be to God? God doesn't care about your title. He doesn't care what kind of car you drive. He doesn't care about the labels on your clothes. He doesn't care where you live. He doesn't care what your degree is. Do you know that God is no respecter of persons? He isn't. In Proverbs chapter 14, verse 31, it says, whoever oppresses the poor shows contempt for the Maker, but whoever is kind to the needy honors God. And when it says oppress, it means to defraud God, to violate him. It means an overkill, of cruelty, overtaxing with cruelty. I'm already down on my luck, and you come and push my tent over, or you won't give me what I need to live because you feel like you're enabling me. But it's oppressive. And it says we show contempt, not for the poor, but for their Maker, their Creator. And they are B'Tselem Elohim. Can you imagine showing contempt for God? Who in here would purposely show contempt? But we do. I'm not sitting here to preach and say, don't do that. I never would. I've done some pretty raunchy things in my life. But when I think about behaving in that manner, that it would be contemptuous to God, it makes me want to rethink how I treat others. It makes me want to rethink, what does it mean to be created in his image? And Proverbs the 22nd proverb, verse 16 says, whoever oppresses the poor to increase their wealth or gives to the rich will only come to poverty. You may be morally bankrupt. You may just have a complete lack. But just think, in the work that I do, there are people doing what I do. Poverty is big business. You can make a lot of money doing what I do. But I know you guys gave us a lot of stuff. We're all volunteers. Nobody gets paid. And we're all from the homeless community. Our biggest expense outside of the community is making sure we have toner for our inkjet. Proverbs 17:5 says, whoever mocks the poor insults his Maker. And what it's saying is we defy God. It says the Maker, we defame God. That's what it means to insult God. So when we make fun of the poor and the homeless and those on the corner. And I've seen it done, and it's hurtful. It hurts me that we would act that way, because they are Bet Salem Elohim. They're made in the image of God. So would you spit in God's face? No. And I'm not saying that we purposely do this. Maya Angelou said, when you know better, do better. Tonight, I hope when you leave, you know better. And we should not make, we shouldn't do things that show favoritism or bigotry towards anybody. In James chapter 2, verses 1 through 4, it says that God forbids favoritism. And as I said, God is no respecter of person. We're all on the same playing field in his book. When you stand before him, he's not going to ask you, what was your degree? What grade did you get in algebra this year? He's going to want to know, did you feed the hungry? You know, were you kind to somebody who was sick? Did you visit your friend that was down? You know, did y'all play fair in the soccer game? You know? But do you know what I'm saying? He doesn't care about that. And so it says that this is what it says. It says, my brothers and sisters, believers in our glorious God, must not show favoritism. Suppose a man comes into your meeting wearing gold rings and fine clothes, like me. I'm sorry. And then a poor man in filthy rags also comes in. If you show special attention to the man who is wearing the fine clothes and you say, here's a good seat, you take that, it's for you. But you say to the poor man, you stand over there or sit at my feet. Have we not discriminated among ourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? That's not how we do. So what I want to say in closing is we have to look at one another, at all men and women, as Bet Salem Elohim. We are the faces of God. Let's not defy him anymore. Let's not spit in his face. Let's not overtax with cruelty. Let's remember who we are and who our Maker is. Before I leave, I just want to say one prayer and blessing over all of us. And my prayer is that God will keep all of you, always and always, and in always, as we all walk daily, recognizing that all of us and everyone is Bet Salem Elohim. Thank you for your time. No.
If I can get a little bit of help again to move the projector, we also have one other speaker.
The screen.
The screen, not the projector, thank you, the screen. So if I can have a couple of people just scoot that back to where it was, thank you. It's now an honor for me to invite up Rita to share her story.
Well, I'm a little bit nervous addressing everyone. I've not really done this before, but I am homeless. I live with about maybe 150 people along the tracks, the short distance of tracks. There are probably a lot more people that are experiencing homelessness than the numbers they publish. And fact of the matter is that everybody that I was initially out on the streets with is still out there. People that do work like Pastor Kathy and a few others, are the only people that are out there really doing anything. So it makes you wonder where all of this money is going. And it's definitely not going into housing, at least for us. The things that I notice that are probably the most poignant are just witnessing the gradual degradation, and some people degrade faster than others. It's just sometimes people that that might be totally normal one day are completely gone the next, and there's a question of whether or not they will ever come back from that. The devastation that it does to be on that side, to not be able to be clean, to not be able to use the bathroom when you need to use the bathroom, to be discriminated against whenever you go, even to, let's say, McDonald's, which has happened to me, where they've refused service to me, and I was like, I'm sorry, if you're gonna refuse service to me, you're gonna have to serve something better than dollar burgers. So, there is a dysphemic culture here that keeps people, out of sight, out of mind, and I think that's pretty much as long as people don't have to think about it, they're comfortable in that. And I have an organization that I started. It's called H- for homeless. Eventually, hopefully, will become H+, which would be housed. And it's an organization of strictly homeless people. I generally tend to not, everybody is included, obviously, but there's not much I can do for people that are truly mentally ill. And that's, I think, where the misconception gets tied into, that broad-based assumption of what everyone is stereotypically. And it's not just people out there at your local 7-Eleven barking at the moon. A lot of people are not that way. A lot of people are embarrassed every day. They're scared. They no longer feel as though they are in common with people that, are housed. It's awkward to talk to people. Whereas you might have been a socially outgoing person before, you become totally closed off. Especially if you have to go around being dirty. Then you stop to notice it after a while. You just don't notice it, and then maybe somebody points it out to you, and then there's that moment again where it's the stark reality of, oh, I am dirty, and I am not like everyone else, and not this expectation of what people are supposed to be in modern times, which I can recall stories of my great-grandmother telling me about going to town on a wagon, and times were different. And so it's only a short blip in time where we have this concept of what modern housing is. And so to treat people so unfairly that are intense. And I've been in encampments that have been set on fire. I've been shot at. I've seen people lose their pets in malicious ways. I've seen somebody's dog get basically intentionally run over. And that's all terrible. Those are all terrible things to witness. It's terrible to see people that wake up every day crying. I know somebody that cries for the first half hour every morning, and it's terrible to have to hear that. It's also it's interesting to see it. If you step out of it and you can look at it, from a distance, you can start to see the components of it, such as the lack of light. I don't know if you've ever tried to find, but you just turn off everything in your house and try to find something, and grope around in the dark for a while, and you will see that you lose your mind as well. So there are these things, and they compound, and they get worse, and they get worse, and they get worse until finally people snap. And that's when you have the angry person that flies off the handle, or you have, the people that lose themselves in alcohol and drugs. And it doesn't have to be like that, really, it doesn't, because we waste so much as people, as humans. We waste so much, literally. I see it personally, there's an incredible amount of waste that goes into the trash. Building materials, everything. You wouldn't believe the things that people throw away. And so it just is amazing that sometimes people won't give you the time of day, literally, won't give you the time of day, won't give you $1 for the bus, but they will throw away things that are far more valuable than than the dollar, or at least the concept of them are valuable. Because one thing I do know from being homeless or unsheltered is that none of that really means anything anymore. Is that you can lose everything and then you're only there with yourself. So what kind of person are you? I offer anyone to take that challenge. Like, who are you? And what are you if you strip away all of the possessions and you put them out into the field, and there you are, you only have yourself. So, I mean, not all of us are very strong. I try to help people get through it. I try to unify people. I try to keep them positive, but a lot of people find me to be a really rigid person usually and very serious, but that's really what it is that it is a serious situation. I've been out here for 4 years. I've lost everything time and time again, and I can see how people just go, okay, well, there's nothing. This is it. This is it. I'm just gonna have to wait until someone either picks up my body, or someone puts me in an institution. I mean, those are terrible things to wait for too. I mean, it's not like Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever holiday that it is. It's usually every holiday we're getting bulldozed. So I tell you that, so those stop to mean anything really. All of it really is meaningless. When it comes down to, I've known men that have lost their highest hope and then they did away with hope in its entirety. So the only thing I say is that, don't judge a book by its cover. A lot of people clean up very nicely, and a lot of people are really scared of people in the community. The common thought, the common thought that goes through everyone's mind out in the homeless community is, are they going to round us up into FEMA camps and gas us? So, and that's really what people think. That's what they think. They think that people want to hurt them and people want to kill them. And so they become okay with crawling around in the dirt. And they become okay with hiding, in the darkness. And that's not the kind of life that anybody wants to lead, especially if you had a life that was, somewhat normal at one time. I know that I did, and I know most people that are around me do, or did at one point in time. And so, I don't know, I think it's more of a compounding trauma type of thing, and that for me personally, the biggest thing is how are we going to get through this how are we all going to get through this together without any money? So, I mean, my focus has been shifted to the creation of some sort of idea of housing that wouldn't really cost any money, because as you see that everyone takes advantage of these programs and they're just cash cows. So you have these large developments that cost a lot of money, and it's why did they cost a lot of money if other developments don't cost that much money? That's the question. So what I invite people to do is to start thinking about alternative housing situations and which one is worse? Would you rather have people off the streets, or would you rather have them on the streets? I mean, there's definitely lots of solutions. I don't think that institutionalization is any kind of solution whatsoever. I think that a lot of people probably make bad decisions out of their own self-loathing or fear of the community or whatever it is, because they feel as though this is it, this is the end. And the average lifespan of somebody on the streets is 48. So I'm looking at death in 8 years. So I definitely don't want that. I have 2 children that I can't see. I know pretty much every female in my area has lost their children to DCFS, because you're not allowed to have children if you're poor. You're also not allowed to have pets. You're not allowed to have anything that doesn't fit in a 60-gallon drum. So I would like to see anybody take the things that are needed, to cook with or stay warm with or seek shelter from the elements, and then your clothing and whatever, hygiene products you need, and try to fit that into a 60-gallon drum and see how well it works. Of course, to do that means that you have to forego a lot of comforts. That means that you're going to be sleeping in the dirt, on the rocks, which I've done. And I'm not proud to say it, I guess, but I'm also not embarrassed to say it. That's the thing, is that I think is what separates a lot of the people, is that they're afraid to say something, so they say, okay, you go say it for us. So I'm here to talk to you as a member of the homeless community, because I am not afraid to look at anybody in the face and say, this is who I am, because I'm comfortable with who I am. My state of existence is not who I am. You know, who I am is what I do for people, and, you know, how I react when these situations arise. You know, and do I have bad days? Yes. But I try to spend my time finding a solution. And I think it's easy to go home and have electricity at the flip of a switch, or water at the flick of a wrist, and be comfortable. So it's easy to forget that there are people out there in the cold and in the rain, and it's really awful. It's really, really awful sometimes. That's pretty much it. So just remember, you know, humanity, I guess.
Thank you.
I want to hold this moment for, I feel like we have to hold the moment. I think I work hard, and I know Rabbi Paul and Cantor Doug, we work really hard to create safe spaces for people. Rita mentioned us. This is one of the first times she's shared her story. It was so beautiful, what you did tonight. And I got to have dinner with Rita, so I got to hear even more, and I'm looking forward to the partnership that we're going to have and the work that we're going to get to help do together. So thank you for being up here. You were incredibly brave. If you are at all interested in learning a little bit more about how we can really build permanent supportive housing, if you're interested in the solutions that are out there, and just want to explore the powerful connections that we're making, like we are with Pastor Kathy or Corinne, from everyone in, thank you for being here. Please join us. March 12th is our next meeting at 12:30 p.m. here at Congregation Ormy. If you're interested, March 12th at 12:30. Transitioning us to close out our service. Alcoholics Anonymous have a saying, one day at a time. In the healing process of any illness, an illness of addiction, an illness of pain, an illness of spirit, an illness of mind or of body, this is what we can do to heal. Walk through the experience one day at a time. And when we need to, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time, and even 1 second at a time. This Shabbat, we pray for healing of mind, of body, and of spirit for those who ail. And we pray for strength and comfort for those who care for them. Tonight, we share the names aloud of those who are in need of healing and strength, and we mention their relationship to us as well. Tonight, we ask for healing for
newly reunited friend, Jerry LeWhite.
My cousin,
Adler, Mark Green.
My father, Lee Abramson.
Where is she?
My friend Bob Cohen. My brother, Marvin.
Hey, Brenda Debbie. My sister Joyce. Miley, my sister's granddaughter. My son Adam.
My son Adam.
We hold all of their names in our hearts, and we turn to our Misha Berach, our prayer for healing, page 253, the indented words.
Misha Berach, Avoti. מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
I would now like to invite up Diane Gubin from Hine New Caring Committee and Devin and Josh.
Come on up, Devin. Yeah.
Cantor gave me mic training recently. So we stand in front of me. Okay. Devin and Josh. Okay. Wait, you have to switch because I have Josh first. Thank you. Josh and Devin, mazel tov to you and to your families. I'm honored to share the bima with you. Your voice and your presence have brought much joy to us all. I'm very proud of the work that we do here at Congregation RMA. We have just an amazing team in Rabbi Julia, Rabbi Paul, Cantor Doug, and Diane in helping to prepare you for this process, becoming a bar and a bat mitzvah. And for anybody who's new to our congregation here, bar is for boys and bat is for girls. In this process, you've learned your Torah portion, your prayers, you've studied daily for months. You've learned to read and to chant in Hebrew, how to do speeches. It was a lot of work, right?
Yes.
Yes. So apart from all that, it's all about who you are. So Josh, I understand that you go to A. Wright Middle School here in Calabasas. And your mom, I had a great conversation with her. She told me a lot of good stuff, and then she said, and he loves to cook, especially barbecue. She told me that you love sports, that you play all sorts of sports, especially baseball, and you're on a traveling team, right? And what position do you play? Second base. Terrific. And for your mitzvah project, so at Ormy, what we do is we ask the kids, they're usually 12 years old, going to be 13, to take on what is a mitzvah, a good deed project, where it's something to help the community. So for Josh, your mitzvah project, you love sports, with baseball, etc. Actually, your mom said all sports. So what you did was you started collecting gently used and new sports equipment for underprivileged families and underprivileged kids, and you're going to deliver. You set up all sorts of collections. Your mom said you said at work, and they're right. They're right there. All the sports stuff. So if you have any equipment, this is an ongoing project. I understand for Josh, it will continue after your bar mitzvah, and you're going to deliver these to Adobe Communities, which is a nonprofit which helps house low-income families. And I actually have a quote from your mom. She says, part of the reason that you did this was it allows kids to have fun, exercise, feel good, and be part of the community. So great job. Great. And Devin, you go to A.C. Stone Middle School, And your mom said a lot of nice things. Your moms both adore you.
What a surprise.
Surprise. So she said, you go to AC Stella, you have a lot of good friends, and some of them are here with you this evening to support you in this. She told me that you like nature, outdoor adventures, and as part of that, you did not just a regular camp, but you went to survival camp in the mountains and you did a 3-day hike, and actually you're here, so you survived. She said, again, with your outdoor stuff with your dad's family, you love being on a boat with the family in Wisconsin. You do a lot of swimming, right? And as part of Congregation Orami, you went on a trip to Israel, which had a lot of outdoors too, right? And you are also really big into sports. You're a gymnast. You're on a competing team. And I asked your mom which role you like the best. She said all of them, but you tell us, what do you do in gymnastics? Floor. Tumbling, right? And like roundovers and stuff. Terrific. And for your mitzvah project, you are currently still working on that because your birthday and your bat mitzvah are actually next month. And you are raising money and awareness for an organization called Shoes That Fit. And they provide, or you are going to provide, sneakers for kids of all ages to be able to fully participate in school activities and sports. And with your brother and a friend, you've gone out and you've raised money and collected brand new shoes. And what you're going to do is on your birthday or around your birthday next month, you're going to deliver these shoes to the organization. So great job, both of you. So as you know, your Jewish education doesn't end with your bar and bat mitzvah. In fact, it does get a lot more fun. We have lots of youth group activities. We have Softy and Lofty and all sorts of new friends and opportunities for new adventures, and we really look forward to you continuing Tikkun Olam, which means helping to heal the world. We hope that you will continue to embrace your Jewish values and traditions, like this wonderful accomplishment in becoming a bar and a bat mitzvah. And with the many activities here at Congregation Orami, there will always be a place where you can find yourself. You will always be welcome here at any age. And I have a gift. Oh,
Yes,
here.
there they are.
A gift. We have a gift to present to you on behalf of Congregation Orami's Hinenu Caring Community. So, mazel tov to both of you. Congratulations and enjoy your weekend.
Mazel
Thank
tov.
you.
Hey, Nehmen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, Nehmen tov, Nehmen tov, mazel tov, Nehmen tov, Nehmen tov, Nehmen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, Nehmen tov.
The voting is now open for the World Zionist Congress elections, and your vote is critical to maintaining a large Reform presence in Israel and the United States. I'm going to make you, if you are Jewish and you have voted in the World Zionist Congress, can you please raise your hands? Okay, we are trying to get to 400 votes. We're at like 160, and we only have 2 more weeks. So let me explain what it is. We are asking that on your way out, that you actually vote. And I can help you get there where you need to be. But basically, ARTSA, the Reform Movement, we are asking that you vote and then also then sign up at orami.org so we know that you voted. As a congregation, we're a Reformed Jewish congregation, and we want to make sure that we have a democratic opportunity to influence Israeli society, right, and make sure that there's equality and pluralism and tolerance. And so we really believe that one of the best ways to do that is to vote Reform through the ARTSA elections.
If someone wants to do that tonight, how would they do that, Rabbi?
You find me.
Uh-huh.
It says there's a voting station, which I think is me.
Right.
Find a voting station, it says on my announcements, which
So
I think is just come find
you're
me.
asking a few people out here tonight to come up to you and say, Rabbi,
In a few, I mean every Jew who hasn't voted
if you didn't raise your hand just now and you're Jewish, you need to go up and say
I
hello
would
to
love
Rabbi
to
Julia.
control the elections and allow those who are not Jewish. We are very inclusive here at Orami. We just had Inclusion Shabbat. It just so happens that this is one thing that we ask. That's the only thing really that we ask, that you're Jewish to vote. But come find me. I'm the voting station. And also next week we have Home Shabbat. The clergy are at camp with our 4th through 6th graders at a weekend retreat. So we will all miss you at Shabbat next week. On Sunday, March 15th, we are inviting you to the Butterfly Project. This is to help honor and memorialize every child lost in the Holocaust. And this is really, this is actually incredibly family friendly. We're doing this in conjunction with our family learning program, Menschify. So any age is available to come. There will be a conversation, an art project around the Holocaust, and is age appropriate again. We also have a speaker coming on Sunday, March 29th, Rabbi John L. Rosov, Why Israel and Its Future Matters, Letters of a Liberal Rabbi to His Children and the Millennial Generation. So that's here at Congregation Ormy. All of these flyers on your way out are on the left-hand side before you exit the building. And last but not least, we have our Ormy One, the party of the year, where we're honoring our Rabbi Paul Kipnis and Michelle November. If you have not signed up for this, so some of the tickets are included in your partnership if you're part of the Ormy family. If you have not signed up for this, sign up tonight. Or maybe not Shabbat, do it on Sunday. Or ask me how you get tickets if you're interested in going, because it's March 7th and we're pretty much full at this point and would love to have those of you that want to come do that. And with that, we have spent a lot of time in this community. In fact, at Congregation Ormy, we usually have 1 hour services on the dot. And we went longer because there was a lot to celebrate and a lot to learn tonight. And so I thank all of you for your patience and your flexibility in that and creating a safe space so that we could learn and listen together. And one more opportunity for us to show up as community tonight. We showed up as community to listen and learn from Rita and Pastor Kathy. We showed up in community to celebrate with Devin and Josh. We showed up in community to look at a slideshow of the faces of God. We showed up in community for our healing, those who are in need of healing. And now I ask that we show up in community for those who we are missing physically in our lives, who are no longer living. So just as we asked for relationships to you, we ask that you think about those that you miss in your life. Think about their memory. And we share their names and their relationships to you tonight. Tonight we remember.
My mom, Lee, my dad, Miles, and my father-in-law.
My father-in-law, Ralph Coster, my father, George Cantor, Renee Coster.
Mother, father,
My friend Diego. Father-in-law Jerry Man. My Uncle Mo, Walter, and my mom's dog, Caleb.
My mother, Helen Brucker, her husband, Milton Brucker, and my father, Sam Sussman.
My father Jerry Deneen and my sister Wendy.
My friend Jenny and my sister-in-law Arlene.
My father, Philip David Kaplan.
My mother, Lenny Katz. My friend Susan Edson.
And my sister Margie.
I'm gonna say a name.
My father, Marvin Goldberg. My mother, Marlene Ginsberg.
I'm living Dorothy parents.
Mother Father Maximilian, my sister Raina, and my brother Ralph.
My parents probably
I have Sue, my mom, my dad. Greg's mother, Edith Howard.
My friend Judy Sharf.
We turn to page 294, our prayer, our mourner's Kaddish, a prayer that doesn't mention death at all, yet we are supposed to say it over those we are remembering in order to celebrate their life. If you will rise, page 294. Yit gadal v'kadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach leolam u'lamei olmaya, yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha brichu. La'ela min kol bir chata v'shirata, tush v'chata v'nechamata, da'miran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. We put our arms around each other. I will call out the words. They are song number 5, but better to put our arms around each other if you're comfortable. This nighttime prayer is something that we say, asking God to watch over us and shelter us, and what a new meaning we've learned from both Pastor Kathy and from Rita tonight. So first words, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu.
L'shalom.
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 V'ha'amidenu.
Amidei.
Shomreinu. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Ufros aleinu sukat.
Ufros aleinu sukat.
Shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings.
Shelter us beneath thy wings.
O Adonai.
O Adonai.
Guard us from all harmful things.
Guard us from all harmful things.
O Adonai.
O Adonai.
Keep us safe throughout the night.
Keep us safe throughout the night.
Till we wake with morning's light.
Till we wake with morning's light.
Teach us, God, wrong from right.
Teach us, God, wrong from right.
Amen, amen, amen. Shabbat Shalom. Join us out in the Nashri for Kiddush and Motzi.
For you.